Hello there, my very good friends. On today's afternoon news video, it just keeps getting worse somehow for the Young Bucks in airing the footage.
Punk, Roman and Seth in a triple threat at WrestleMania.
John Cena is taking time off again, lazy bugger.
And a Nikki Bella full-time WWE return could happen in 2025.
I'm Andy Murray.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. Right, let's talk about the Young Bucks airing the CM Punk fight.
About time.
Yeah, it's about time somebody had something to say about this situation. Obviously, very controversial incident, and it's just won a very dubious award. Remember WrestleCrap?
Loved it. Seminal when I was younger.
Me too. I used to read WrestleCrap every single day I was on the internet. Basically, it's a condemnation. I would say celebration, but it was more just burying stuff of all the worst stuff that's ever happened in wrestling, be it Bastion Booger, being Oz, being the Gobbledygooker. I can't speak properly.
Shout out
Terry Taylor as well.
Yeah.
Goodness
the rooster
gracious.
and the gooker.
But yes, obviously the award is named after the Gobbledygooker. It's the Gooker Award. And yeah, they've had their vote for the worst thing in wrestling over the past year, and the Young Bucks airing the All-In footage is ran away with it. So 42% of the vote. Second was The Rock fiddling around with WrestleMania, which got 17%.
Okay.
So clearly the WrestleCrap viewership hated the Young Bucks airing the footage. Third was The Learning Tree. Fourth was Adam Cole versus MJF. And coming in at fifth with just 5% was an equal parts the Crown Jewel titles and CM Punk's friendship bracelet.
Yeah.
So there you go. Look, this all came about shortly after CM Punk had been on Ariel Helwani's podcast, which wasn't exactly the most incendiary interview he's ever had. He did say some things about AEW and the fight. He was asked several different bits and pieces. He made some comments about how AEW is going to exist for as long as Tony wants it to, basically. But said he was a nice guy but not a good boss, and various other things. Obviously some of it is protected via NDA following the backstage fight of 2022. AEW, in response to this, they had the Young Bucks air the footage with Jack Perry, and Jack Perry became the scapegoat and got that push, and he was TNT champion. He's not been on TV in a little while. The last time he wrestled, I think, was on Wrestle Dynasty.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can't remember. My brain doesn't work properly.
I think you're right. Last time.
So he's been away for a while. And look, if you want to evaluate the long-term consequences of this, what good has it done, right? I think in the immediate aftermath, Jack Perry was quite over as a heel. So you could go, okay, cool. That worked for him in the interim and the Young Bucks, and kind of informed their characters quite a lot. But at the end of the day, it's been a big black eye on AEW, and I think it's probably something they now want to move away from. So it's good that it's back in the news.
I will say this, as idiot talking heads on the internet, we are kind of in the game of reacting to something instantly and then offering maybe some more considered thoughts after the fact. We're all human. We all kind of have those impulse reactions to stuff, and that's why we want to have these conversations even now. I think it was fair to have an opinion at the time that this was a bad idea, and it was divisive, certainly, because I think CM Punk shared what he believed was his truth in the Ariel Helwani interview, and AEW said, well, we've got one of our own. You make your own mind up. This is our truth. Then, what played out afterwards has kind of allowed us to make sort of more considered and reasoned judgments on it. And ultimately, whilst there was an attempt for this to be for the greater good of the Jack Perry character, for the new elite, this was ultimately what birthed Tony Khan getting attacked on a Dynamite angle that should have been hideous and was in fact hilarious. In the fullness of time, we can just accept the Jack Perry push as a noble failure. It hasn't elevated him to the top of the card, despite numerous earnest attempts to push him. A TNT title run, the match against Bryan Danielson, a lot of big wins, a lot of big moments. He had the weirdly for a heel, the kind of hero's end at Blood and Guts. Remember when he took
he's done that a few times.
Yeah,
he's finish me off, brother.
It isn't that he wasn't kind of given everything to get over, and this was the start of that. And if we're sat here in January and we're talking about potential Revolution main event, you might think differently. You might think, you know what? Ultimately, the ends have absolutely justified the means, but because they haven't, it only makes it look worse. And I think rather than say the Thursday after the Wednesday airing, where we're going, what have you done, AEW? To be fair, this Gooker Award is an acknowledgement of, well, how has the rest of it played out? I actually don't think this is some sort of I don't know, hammer blow. I think if anything, it's a recognition of sometimes things just don't work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would hope it won't be because people are nuts, but like this could hopefully be a line under everything. I think that for me personally, the Jack Perry character long term has not worked. I gave it a good chance for 3 to 6 months there, and just doesn't move me. Maybe you're different, and that's cool. We all like different things. There's no objectively good or bad. It's art. It's all just a created thing, and you can like what you like and dislike what you dislike. The Young Bucks, they've done some very profitable stuff as heels. I think obviously the Sting stuff was before all of this, but like even the title change with Private Party. Yeah, Private Party's title run didn't pan out because AEW Creative didn't give them anything after they won the belts, really confusingly. But the title change, even though it wasn't particularly well built, felt like a big moment on the night. And the Young Bucks, actually, character-wise, sometimes a little bit divisive, but like they actually had a good in-ring year last year that kind of flew under a lot of radars because it wasn't a vintage year for tag team wrestling in general. So it's not the end of the road or anything silly like that. I think Jack Perry's like 26 or something. It's going to be fine. Don't worry. You got plenty of time to do some new things with him. But yeah, at the end of the day, what this is 2.5 years later, the impact of Brawl Out still being felt. This was a huge cultural moment in pro wrestling. And as we grow increasingly tribalistic and people increasingly dig their heels in and solidify their identities of what they like and what they don't like and what they attack and what they don't, I can't see this going away ever, but it probably should at this stage.
I have a slightly more positive take on that because I would like it to go away forever. I think other than maybe that, let's be the arbiters of this. We're closing the door today, like moratorium as of right now here on like sort of all of the wrestling space. We're doing it. Like who knew that we had the authority, but we do. No, I will say this. It feels like within AEW, everyone has at long last moved on in storyline.
Yes.
And in WWE, there is objective evidence that if people even cared in the first place, because like Punk is maybe the best promo subjectively within WWE. You might have another favourite, but certainly he's often cutting the best promos in the company. And the only time his lines don't land is when he makes odd little references to it. So he stopped doing it. Because the evidence was there that the crowd would only be quiet for the bit. So maybe I knock out a couple of guys backstage. Silence.
Nobody cares.
Talks about talks about Drew McIntyre, talks about whoever he's feuding with on TV, big reactions, big moments. So like he's dropped that from his act. They are no longer talking about it like we are still talking about it a bit, but like the internet itself feels like it is gradually moving forward. AEW kind of like at long last feels like it's separated from it all. So maybe we are seeing, maybe the end is in sight. But look, I'm feeling a bit funny being so considered and middle ground about everything. So let's be reactionary and annoyed about news that has just dropped in the last 24 hours because we've got the confirmation, thanks to PW Insider, WrestleMania 41, Las Vegas, Nevada. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. And Seth Rollins is going to be there because, yes, the outlet is coming through to say that as of right now, that is on the whiteboard. You know what? I referred to myself yesterday on our Raw Review podcast as a situational Seth Rollins guy. I am more patient to the times when I think, has he worked his way into that spot? Has he done a good enough job for me? Sometimes I feel like he has. And I have to say, that was what I felt like he was doing on Saturday watching the Royal Rumble live. There was a man working to either justify a decision being made about a triple threat or fight his way into one with how impressive the brawl was when Punk eliminated them both and then had the little stare down with Roman, and then Seth Rollins was ultimately the guy that was kind of the man that is now being credited for taking Roman off TV with that wicked couple of stomps he did to him after the elimination. So in the moment, I was thinking, he's done it. Seth Rollins has done it. Triple threat it is. And then on Raw, my mind changed again because it felt as though Seth and Roman was the play, and maybe Punk goes into something with Cody at WrestleMania or who knows what. No, the triple threat is the current answer. I'm a biggest Punksman. I am keeping my fingers crossed that I finally get that pasty off you if he actually walks the aisle at WrestleMania this year. But it's hard not to look at this and immediately just see compromise and immediately see Seth Rollins as the pin eater, and most tellingly see this match not main eventing either of the nights.
It's an interesting one. Me personally, 99 times out of 100, I prefer one-on-one to one-on-one-on-one.
Yep.
Not a big triple threat guy. There are exceptions to the rule, but I can see why WWE fan base would be energized about this after the stuff in the Rumble. Seth Rollins is permanently over. Permanently. He can lose 200 matches a year.
Yeah.
and still get great reactions, and that is absolutely to his credit. It's a testament to the strength of the character he has built, to where he can just go and everyone pops. Everyone wants to go oh when he comes out and stuff. He has built like a moat around him to where the goblins of not being over cannot cross.
Yeah.
That's a terrible metaphor.
That's all I can
But goblins everywhere. There's goblins everywhere, man. You gotta watch out for the goblins.
They're hiding under his big jacket.
Some of them might be on the WrestleMania card. You never know. But yeah, so if you do that, you'd imagine then over here you can have Cena and Cody, Gunther and Jay, and those will be your three big matches, unless of course the Dwayner shows up and goes bow, 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 bow.
Never Charlotte Flair once as well.
Chaz is going to wrestle Tiffany. Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky felt like the direction coming out of Raw, despite Io losing.
It's looking good.
It does look good. It does look good. I think my dream scenario is always going to be chaos. So I want Dwayne to show up on the 1st of April and go, it's no April Fool's, brother. I'm tearing this thing apart and just going nuts. But I like the chaos. But I think, like, the 90, I don't know, I'm not going to estimate a percentage. I've already done that once on this video. Most of WWE's fans are going to just be loving this. So
I will say, because I do think there are some vocal Seth Rollins haters out there, and it's not without some evidence of, in terms of like what his level is and all the constant debate about is he just the best gatekeeper or is he truly one of the main event sector. I think there's always going to be this conversation about Seth. In a conversation we had recently on a podcast when we fantasy rebooking and unbooking the WrestleMania card, it did sort of immediately spring to mind. He's got actually quite strong WrestleMania form. Like, tracking it back, he wrestles a cracker with Drew McIntyre while injured in the opener last year. Yeah. It does the business, all that sort of stuff. Kind of brings back the Brock Lesnar formula, and the two of them take it instead. The year, obviously, the night before, he's in that massive tag match where he absolutely held his own. At WrestleMania 39, he has a total belter with Logan Paul, like one of the many great matches on that card. WrestleMania 38, he's the guy for Cody Rhodes, and what a match that was. WrestleMania 37, off the top of my head, he was in action against, I can't remember. Let me come back to that, because at WrestleMania 36 in the pandemic, he has one of the few good matches against Kevin Owens. Remember that?
Yes.
In the empty gym.
Kevin murdered his back in that match. Yeah.
35, he beats Brock in another hot opening, and on and on and on again. We don't get to a stinker until we get to it's the game Triple H at WrestleMania 33. That's a total Turkerino against Triple H himself. It's a lot of leg work. But yeah, ultimately, Seth Rollins, like, pretty good WrestleMania CV, and we'll know there will be some whispers that he doesn't belong in this spot, and will want to prove people wrong in that defiant way he does.
Always got that chip on his shoulder, which I think is good. I admire that.
Cesaro, UFO, that was 37. People remember that, it's decent WrestleMania CV all told, so we'll see how this one shakes out. And as well, plans are always subject to change, are they not?
They are indeed. They're always subject to Dwayne, as we to Dwayne. There we go. Subject to Dwayne.
Plans subject to Dwayne.
We got the new gimmick.
Yeah.
Right, John Cena is taking some more time off, baby. So he showed up on Netflix. The debut, he then disappeared until the Royal Rumble, and now he's disappearing to the Elimination Chamber.
Can't say until then.
He has gone back to Budapest, where he is filming the Matchbox movie. Yes, the cars, the toy cars. Right. There's a movie about that. John Cena's in it. He's a car.
Is he driving the car?
No, I think he's a car.
He's a car. He's a shit car.
Like he's had his hands replaced with wheels. It's weird.
Cool.
Strange move.
He's an Arctic monkey.
Yeah. My favourite band. Yeah. Apart from the Beatles, obviously. Two bands with no riffs. But
register. Tickets go on sale.
Sign up. I love that. Tickets are going on sale.
Register.
Sign up. But yeah, he's not expected to, this is according to PW Insider, not expected to be back in WWE until Elimination Chamber, which is the 1st of March. He declared his participation in that on the post-show press conference, in which Triple H was asked all kinds of hard-hitting questions about the big news story that broke that weekend, as he usually is.
I missed those ones.
Yeah, man. How do you do it? But Cena's not expected to be back in the build to that. He's not wrestling a qualifier like Punk and Sami Zayn had this week. He's John Cena. He can do what he wants, basically. So, what was it? He said he was going to do 36 dates this year, something like that?
Yeah, he's working Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that's right, in the main event of WrestleMania, brother.
He's got a lot of dates left, but he I liked his promo in that press conference. He basically kind of used his over-the-top cartoonish Royal Rumble performance as part of an ongoing story that he's like, I thought was coming back for a bit of a nostalgia run, and it turns out I suck now, so it's time to get serious and be John Cena. I quite like that sort of, so I'm going to be in the chamber, and the next month, all the challengers are going to call me worse, but it doesn't matter, I'm going to beat them anyway. I've remembered who I am and why I'm back. And I was like, I like that. That's a story you should tell.
I think I've got the WrestleMania booking. John Cena does not win the Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
John Cena has to go on a voyage of discovery. He needs to look within, and he needs a longer chase to the title because he's not quite sure if he's got it yet.
Okay.
CM Punk wins the Chamber and wrestles Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
Roman Reigns wrestles Seth Rollins one-on-one because you have to do that match at some point. John Cena, you come up with something else for him on WrestleMania. Gunther versus Jay is over here. But you tell a year-long story of old man Cena. He's not sure if he's got it anymore, and he's fighting his way up. And then on the last show of the year, you do his title match and leave it on a big cliffhanger if he wins or not.
I like that. I love it.
Good.
I was trying to think of a John Cena match to sort of fulfill that profile, and who else wants his last ever WrestleMania? It can be Goldberg, and they can compare bald spots.
Yeah.
You know what? Shout out to John Cena, actually. That sounds like I'm being mean. I'm not. This time last year, when he was doing that run at WrestleMania, he was constantly sweeping over trying to cover it.
He did it in the Rumble as well.
So awkward. At the Rumble, I thought he was owning it a bit more. I didn't see as much hair growing at the front with the view being like pushback. So fair play to John Cena. I saw a lot of people mocking that, but the fact that it was as visible for as often as it was, and I didn't feel distracted by the constant need to push it back, I got a lot of respect for you, John.
He is disgracefully dismissive of the bald community, and for that, I'm not sure if he'll ever be embraced.
Well, this is it. Yeah, I can't speak to that. I'm not the gatekeeper of that world.
Me and Simon Miller, we climbed Mount Bald. We spoke to the bald elders, and they decreed through the mists of bald time that
passed down.
It's like what was it, John Moxley's voyage to the. Let's not go into that.
No.
It's a family show.
You can't kick a belt in a broom crash. Right, anyway.
What's that got to do with it?
I just thought about that line for a second, made me laugh. From John Cena to John Cena's ex-fiancée, Nikki Bella.
Nikki.
Both of them were on, obviously, Total Divas and Total Bellas.
I don't know why I didn't notice voice there.
Back in...
Hey, Nikki!
It's better times.
Tucky.
Better times for poor Otis. Nikki Bella was back at the Royal Rumble on Saturday as the number 30. She was... it wasn't obviously sort of a guarantee, but she was one of the surprises that had kind of got out that a lot of people speculated was going to be making a return. And with that speculation came a bit of conversation that it might just be for more than a cameo. And WrestleVote had come through to say that Nikki Bella has done, quote, significant numbers of sales on merchandise WWE shop. And the company is thrilled with her return in general. Quote, if she wants a full-time run, that can happen. Nikki Bella, I don't think ever got enough credit at the time for some of her work, when there was definitely a period where she was a bit of a bridge between that like underthought Divas division and the instant Stephanie McMahon's invented women's wrestling, women's revolution of 2015 and beyond.
Well, philanthropy is the future of marketing.
Indeed it is, and she was finally charitable to some women for a change. And yeah, Nikki Bella was kind of like, because she was from that old guard, I don't think she was considered amongst some of them, but there's some good stuff out there from that like 2016, 2017 run, and she paid her dues. Like, she picked up some serious injuries back then as well that she was working through. And it cannot be overstated, even if it's not really talked about in our bubble much. In the old straight white male bubble, we don't watch that Total Divas. But you know what? A lot of people did. A lot of people watch Total Divas.
Absolutely.
A lot of people have spoken about it as a gateway to wrestling full stop, or at least have just fallen in love with the Bellas and the other cast from that show as a result. So Nikki Bella brings with her a sort of sizable amount of fans that care first and foremost about Nikki Bella. That's reflected in the merch sales and presumably in other metrics that WWE are looking at, if indeed they are interested in a return. You know what? I hope it happens.
Yeah, I'm a long-term defender of Nikki Bella. I mean, the Bellas in general, but I think if you look at where Nikki and Brie began to where they were at the end of their career, I think Nikki's improvement is a little higher than Brie's. And look, we all love the Misawa meme, but she does throw a pretty mean forearm. Let's be honest, she clobbers people.
The original rack attack was no joke.
She's been installed actually as the fifth pillar of All Japan. Sorry, Jun Akiyama, you're not getting a look in over here.
I'm a damn bastard.
This is what it is.
Look, but you can't.
Everyone always says it's Kawada, Misawa, Taue, Kobashi, and Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
So there you go.
The four Bellas.
Yeah, and also it was good to hear her keep her original entrance theme. Can you imagine what a Def Rebel version would be? It's like, it's
You
Nikki.
can look, but you can't touch. I am a twin. it.
You cannot touch this. It's Nikki Bella.
Ring the bella. It's Nikki. Bree is not here. It is Nikki.
Bree is looking after her family. It's okay.
Yeah.
And obviously Nikki had, by all accounts, pretty harrowing end to 2024.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy to see her thriving and doing good stuff. And like she's also good and she's really popular. So why wouldn't you do it? If she wants to do it, why wouldn't you do it?
Great time of year for it as well. WrestleMania moment or something like that.
She could do some business. She could put someone over.
Yes, she
Roxanne
could.
Perez. Boom. There you go. We booked it.
On NXT.
Done.
Nikki Bella are doing something on NXT with
you
a
go.
rule. Yes,
There you go.
let's do that.
Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, you'll surely enjoy this morning's news video, which has similar nonsense to this one. We talk about The Rock being upset and Fandango.
Get it. That's real.
Exactly what you thought you were going to get on a Wednesday morning. Bye.